There's a reason your dog can feel deeply loved on a completely ordinary Tuesday afternoon, without you doing anything big, dramatic, or impressive at all. No new toy, no extra long walk, no expensive bowl, no grand emotional moment that would look meaningful from the outside. And that matters more than most people realize. A lot of people assume dogs feel love the same way humans try to show it, through visible effort, through special treats, through gestures you can point to and say, "See, that's how much I care." But that usually isn't where dogs feel it most. Most dogs do not feel love most powerfully in the biggest moments. They feel it in the repeated ones, in the little rhythms, the quiet signals, the things that happen so often they almost disappear into the background. And strangely, that's the part that makes this emotional. Because a lot of people really are loving their dogs every single day, while still overlooking the exact moments their dog feels that love most clearly. Dogs do not read love the way humans give speeches about it. They read it the way bodies read weather. In your tone, in your timing, in your steadiness, in whether your presence makes their muscles soften or hold on a little tighter. That is why two people can both be gentle with the same dog, and yet the dog will completely melt around one of them in a way they never do around the other. One person feels kind, the other feels safe to exhale around. That difference changes everything. Once you see it, you stop asking only, "Do I love my dog?" And you start asking something more important. How does my dog actually feel that love in their body? So here are 7 ways dogs feel your love without you even realizing it. 1. When you answer their check-ins. Your dog does this more often than you probably notice. A quick glance from across the room. A look back in the middle of a walk. A pause near the kitchen doorway, just long enough to find your face for a second before moving on. Most people miss it completely, but your dog is not just looking at you for no reason. They are checking the emotional signal. They are asking something soft and almost invisible. Are we still okay right now? Dogs are incredibly tuned to social cues. Long before words mean much, expression does. Posture does. Tension does. Where your attention lands does. A soft response from you can calm their system faster than most owners ever realize. So when your dog checks in and you answer with gentle eyes, a relaxed face, or even a quiet little, "Hey," that moment lands deeper than it looks. It tells them something small, but enormous. I still see you. We're still connected. Nothing has changed between us. That kind of reassurance does not look dramatic, but dogs feel it. Love, for many dogs, begins right there. Not first in the petting, not first in the food, in being emotionally received. 2. When your voice changes around them. A lot of people think dogs love praise only because they learn the words. "Good boy. Good girl. Come here. That's my baby." And yes, words matter. But the deeper thing your dog is hearing is not just the vocabulary. It's you. The softness that comes into your voice when they walk into the room. The way you say their name when you mean nothing except warmth. That strange, tender tone people use with dogs without even thinking about it. The one they'd never use with another adult in public. Dogs are deeply tuned to the human voice. They do not only hear sound, they hear emotional texture. They can tell the difference between language directed at them and language simply happening around them. And that difference matters more than it seems. Your dog may not understand every sentence, but they absolutely feel when your voice becomes a place of safety. That is part of why some dogs follow one person's voice through the house, room to room, even when nothing important is being said. Not because the words are exciting, because the feeling inside those words is familiar. A loving voice does more than communicate. It shelters. It gives the nervous system somewhere soft to land. 3. When you let them choose closeness, this one catches a lot of owners off guard. Humans are initiators. We see the dog, we reach for the dog. We feel love, so we act on it immediately. That feels natural to us. But dogs often feel love most clearly when they still have some choice inside the interaction. When they walk over and lean against your leg. When they rest their chin on your knee. When they press their side into you on their own, instead of being pulled into contact they never ask for. That changes the emotional meaning of the moment. It is not just closeness, it is closeness with agency. And agency matters to dogs more than many people think. A dog who is constantly being touched may look adored from the outside, but a dog who is allowed to approach, pause, decide, and stay feels something deeper than simple affection. They feel respected, and respect changes the quality of love. It becomes the difference between, "I wanted to touch you," and "I made space for you to come to me." Dogs remember that difference. They learn that being close to you does not come with pressure. It does not come with intrusion. It does not come with having their body chosen for them. It comes with permission. And permission is one of the quietest forms of safety there is. 4. When you protect their moments of peace, this may be one of the most loving things a human can do for a dog, and almost nobody talks about it this way. Your dog is finally asleep, or deeply resting, or lying there in that heavy, loose, almost melted way that tells you the nervous system has actually let go for a while. And because it looks so sweet, people go in. A little rub on the side, a kiss on the head, a hand over the ears, a soft, "You're so cute," while touching them awake. It comes from love. But from the dog's side, the emotional meaning can be very different. Rest is one of the few times a dog fully gives up vigilance. If that state keeps getting interrupted, even gently, the body starts learning that peace is fragile. That softness can be broken at any moment. So one of the quietest ways dogs feel loved is when you let them stay there. When you do not wake them just because they look precious. When you do not turn their softness into something for you. When you protect their peace instead of borrowing from it. That kind of love is so easy to miss. It does not look active. It does not look expressive. It does not even always feel like doing love. But dogs feel it. Sometimes love is not attention at all. Sometimes love is leaving the body unguarded. 5. When your routine tells them the world is still safe. Humans often get restless around routine. Dogs often relax into it. Not a rigid life. Not the same thing every second. Not some sterile, robotic schedule. Just enough rhythm that the day stops feeling emotionally random. The sound of your keys around the same time each evening. Breakfast happening in the same general order. The little sequence before bedtime. The familiar start of a walk, even if the route changes later. Dogs are pattern readers. Their nervous systems settle faster when life is not constantly unpredictable. They do not need every moment to be identical. They just need enough consistency that their body stops bracing for surprise. So your steadiness can feel like love in a form your dog understands immediately. A lot of people think routine is just practical. But to a dog, routine often says, "I know where I belong in this day. I know what comes next. I do not have to stay on edge all the time." That is an intimate kind of comfort. People often want a calmer dog, a more affectionate dog. A dog who feels easier, softer, more secure. What they miss is that love becomes believable to a dog when life becomes readable. That is what routine does. It makes your care feel dependable, and dependable love is often the love dogs trust most. 6. When you notice discomfort before they have to say it louder, this may be one of the deepest forms of love a dog can feel. Your dog turns their head a little, their mouth closes, their body goes still in that tiny way that is easy to miss if you are not looking. They lean away just enough that an attentive person would catch it. And you do catch it. You stop. You soften. You slow down. You give space. You change what you were about to do. That moment matters more than almost anyone thinks. Because when your dog sees that their small signals actually change your behavior, they learn something profound. I do not have to escalate to be understood here. That is one of the purest foundations of trust there is. A dog who feels heard in the small moments does not have to shout in the big ones. And this is where so many relationships with dogs are quietly built or quietly damaged. Not in the obvious moments, in the tiny ones, in whether the person notices discomfort before it becomes resistance, in whether they keep going because their intentions were good, or whether they stop because the dog's feelings matter more than the plan. A dog does not only feel loved when you are affectionate. A dog feels loved when your awareness protects them. That is a different kind of love. Quieter, less visible, far more powerful. 7. When you share space with them and ask for nothing, no command, no correction, no touching, no cheerful interruption just because the room feels too still. Just you, being there. A lot of dogs experience this as one of the safest forms of closeness in the world. You sitting at the table while they sleep nearby. You reading on the couch while they lie by your feet. You sitting on the floor without turning the moment into an activity. You being present without making presence cost them anything. That may sound like nothing. To a dog, it can feel like everything, because it teaches them that being near you does not always come with expectation. They do not have to perform. They do not have to answer. They do not have to stay ready for what you might want next. They can simply exist beside you. And for many dogs, that is what deep love feels like. Not intensity, not excitement, not constant engagement. Relief. People rarely use that word when they talk about love, but dogs often do, in their own way. Love feels like the place where vigilance drops, the place where muscles loosen, the place where the body stops reading ahead so hard. That is why the strongest bond is not always the loudest one. Sometimes the strongest bond is almost invisible. A dog falling asleep beside you faster than they do anywhere else. A dog glancing at you, then relaxing the second you look back. A dog crossing the room just to lean into your leg and stay there. A dog resting more deeply, not because you gave more, but because your presence asked less. That is not a small thing. That is what being loved can feel like in a dog's body. So, if you have ever wondered whether your dog really feels how much you love them, do not only look at the big gestures. Look at the quieter ones. The answered glance, the softened voice, the chosen closeness, the protected peace, the steady rhythm, the early understanding, the shared silence. That is where dogs often feel your love most clearly. Not as performance, not as theory, not as something they are supposed to interpret correctly, as something their nervous system can trust. And maybe that is the most beautiful part of all. Your dog may have been feeling your love this whole time, in moments so small you almost walked right past them.